Doug wants to ensure that his stakeholders always reference the most up-to-date project documents and artifacts. To achieve this, he has documented version control procedures and policies for managing project documents and artifacts. Where would Doug record this information? A configuration management plan. B. Lessons learned. Document T. Issue log. D. Requirements management plan. Bruce is managing a project to construct a bridge over a large river. 2 months into the project, the local government issues a new regulation requiring the bridge to be double the originally planned width. Which of the following will most likely not be affected by this new regulation? A Schedule B, Scope C, Cost D, Quality. One of your project management colleagues claims that stakeholders can only be identified during the initiating and planning phases of a project. Is this statement true? A yes. Stakeholders can only be identified in the initiating and planning phases of a project. B. No. Stakeholders can only be identified in the planning and monitoring PMP controlling phases of a project. C. No. Stakeholders can be identified throughout the project except for closing. E. No. Stakeholders can be identified in any phase of a project. Colby has noticed that his project team's morale is low during the execution phase, and team members are reluctant to collaborate or meet after a large scope change was approved. To understand the issue, Colby meets with the team's lead engineer, who explains that the team feels stressed and unmotivated because they do not fully understand the scope of their work or the requirements. What likely went wrong? The team members did not review the lessons learned from past projects and are making similar mistakes. B. The lead engineer did not meet with the team members weekly to assess. Colby did not plan the project appropriately with the entire project team. D. Colby did not keep the project team informed about the project status and changes. Your project team is performing exceptionally well during the execution stage of the project. They are delivering work bundles on time, staying within budget, and maintaining high morale. Which stage of Tuckman's ladder is your team currently in? A forming, B. Storming, T. Norming, D. Performing. During a team meeting, 2 web developers are arguing over the best way to address a technical challenge. You notice that the other team members are starting to feel uncomfortable. What should you do next? Remind the team members of the rules and agreements outlined in the team charter. B. Let the developers continue to argue, as arriving at the technical decision is the biggest goal. Cancel the team meeting and all future meetings involving the 2 developers. D. Write up the 2 web developers during the team meeting. Which of the following statements would be most appropriately recorded in a lessons learned register? The server that the project team relies on has a 25% chance of exceeding capacity in this project. B. The team's lead engineer will be taking a leave of absence midway through project execution. C. The office's internet connection is unreliable. D. Supplier number 1903 is no longer in business, so certain materials should be acquired from supplier number 2984 instead. Which of the following is an example of work performance information? A project manager realizes that a late shipment will delay the entire project by 4 days. B. A developer informs you that a task takes 3 hours to perform. C. A project manager shares a report with stakeholders that contains an updated project schedule. A QA analyst writes a blog post containing tornado diagrams from the latest round of testing. Chris's PMO is very hands-off. He only interacts with the PMO when he needs training on specific project management practices or wants to access templates for project artifacts. The PMO does not influence the outcomes or success of his project. What type of PMO does Chris's office have? A Directive B controlling C supportive hybrid. Which project team is most likely to succeed under a laissez-faire management style? A team that requires detailed requirements and instruction. B. A team that is highly skilled with a great deal of experience. C. A team that is hardworking but inexperienced. D. A team that is hardworking but relies heavily on motivation. Which of the following is not a procedure performed during the project's closure phase? The customer provides project feedback. B. The customer validates the scope. C. The project manager completes procurement closure. D. The project manager archives records. You are finalizing contract negotiations with vendors for your project. However, the contract with American Metal Group is taking longer than expected to be signed by all parties. The work they are responsible for needs to begin immediately to stay on schedule. What should you do to ensure the work starts on time? Send American Metal Group a waiver to sign so that they can start working. B. Try to find a new vendor to perform the work. Continue waiting for the contract to be signed, as it is too risky to proceed without it. D. Issue a letter of intent with American Metal Group so that they can start working.